CANZUK could soon be a reality. Within the past few months, there has been a huge swing in momentum to make the Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and United Kingdom trade deal a reality. There have been petitions, outspoken support from pro-CANZUK members of parliament, parliamentary committees set up, and even trade negotiations. So does this mean that we're only a few months away from a new pillar of the West, a revolutionary trade deal made up of the four foremost Commonwealth nations? Or will CANZUK only ever be a pipe dream with immense popular support? Before we discuss how far CANZUK has come, our first video, and our most watched, explains what CANZUK is in far greater detail than what we'll be covering today. As we discussed in that video, CANZUK is a hypothetical trade deal between Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom, which could possibly entail an exclusive agreement involving free trade, collective bargaining, and an even greater degree of freedom of movement between the four nations. CANZUK has built up a great deal of momentum. Firstly, world leaders in many of the nations which would hopefully be involved made their support widely known. Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, said for instance that if we can do something better with Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, we certainly should. We share very, very similar interests and a uniquely shared set of values, almost echoing the mantra of CANZUK International, an organization with the sole purpose of advocating for the agreement. The United Kingdom is even entering trade talks with Australia, and just finished the second round of negotiations on October 14th of this year. As trade talks between the EU and the UK continue to disintegrate, the United Kingdom is under increasing pressure to find new trade deals, especially ones that exist outside of the purview of the EU nations. In Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has been hesitant to comment on the matter, though it would be hard to conceive of a free trade deal being against Canadian interests. Some suggest that it was simply a reactionary political posturing move now that Aaron O'Toole, the man we quoted in our last CANZUK video as a candidate in the race to become the Canadian Conservative Party leader, has now won the race. He has turned the possibility of CANZUK into a pillar of his leadership, especially now that Canada appears to be in the prelude to a fall election.
I've been advocating for CANZUK for many years. This would allow free trade amongst our allies, amongst free countries.
But the list doesn't end there. The former Prime Minister of Australia is now a CANZUK advocate, along with the former leader of the official opposition in New Zealand. More than just world leaders, popular public support has also become widely apparent. Although in the past, CANZUK already polled immensely well among all CANZUK nations, receiving supermajority approval ratings. 64% in the UK, 72% in Australia, 81% in New Zealand, and 77% in Canada agree with the deal. But within the last 6 months, a petition to support the CANZUK agreement gained over 310,000 signatures. In addition, the Conservative Party of Canada's motion to seek a CANZUK agreement was voted in favor of by 97% of Canadian Conservative Party members. It is perhaps because of these huge upswings in popular approval that the United Kingdom's Parliament has created an all-parliamentary group on CANZUK to begin looking into the specifics of a CANZUK trade deal. One of the organizations listed as an advisor to this parliamentary group is CANZUK International, the leading advocacy organization for the creation of the trade partnership, founded and led by James Skinner.
But in recent months, CANZUK has really started to pick up speed. And what do you think is the greatest sign of CANZUK's momentum, how far you've come? Is it the petitions? Is it quotes from world leaders? Or is it the ever-increasing number of YouTube videos that are seeming to crop up on the internet and creating a general awareness about CANZUK?
Yeah, great question. I think it's a collection of all of the above, really, and many more. We're seeing a lot more engagement on social media. We're seeing a lot more engagement from politicians, whether they be MPs or senators, across the four countries. And I think also Brexit as well has had a huge part to play in that, in the sense that the UK now is officially ending its transition period with the EU come December or the end of December. And of course, a lot of the people in the UK are now looking for alternatives to the EU in terms of where they can travel to and where they can work and what opportunities they'll have for their businesses and even the economy in the future. And I think CANZUK is obviously that tremendous opportunity that people have been searching for, in the sense that it's great for economic growth, it's great for opportunity for people to travel, live and work in these countries, even study in these countries eventually. And of course, a lot of MPs and senators have seen that. They've taken on the call. The leader of the opposition here in Canada, obviously Erin O'Toole, is supportive of it. The Prime Minister Boris Johnson in the United Kingdom is supportive. Recently now with the New Zealand election, obviously Jacinda Ardern with her party now has a majority party to advance this, especially with 82% support from the public in New Zealand. So I think it's a collection of a lot of things, and obviously the public are excited about it. Politicians are endorsing it. We're excited to campaign and advocate for it, and I think it's really going to be something that's going to take off massively in the months ahead, just because of the opportunities that are laid before it.
The CANZUK trade deal could be a new force on the world stage that promotes unity between nations sharing common values, a common language, legal code, and system of government, while all sharing the same head of state. The sense of camaraderie among these nations is felt by a huge majority of their citizens, backed by polling data and approval ratings, and that catalyst cannot be underestimated. New parliamentary inquiries into this possibility on the part of the United Kingdom, along with the ever-increasing pressure to find new trade deals outside of the EU, certainly bode well. Although New Zealand seems to be lagging behind in this conversation, a leader of one of their federal parties has voiced his support. These changes may seem nominal, but for a trade agreement that was obscure to say the least a mere year ago, and in terms of gaining popular support during a global pandemic, the speed with which CANZUK support is growing cannot be denied. CANZUK may still be in the preliminary stages of becoming a fully fledged trade deal, but with Canada's official opposition making it a central tenet of their party platform, the United Kingdom taking undeniable interest, and Australia looking to change their trade relationships, notably with the UK, it seems like we are approaching the end of the beginning for CANZUK. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video and want us to make similar content in the future, please leave a like and consider subscribing. If you have any ideas for next week's video, please leave a comment and we'll be sure to check it out. We really appreciate any and all support as we continue to grow our channel and try to make the content that you